In early 1939, the scientific world had gotten word that Hitler hired scientists to create a weapon to destroy his enemies. The scientists had almost cracked the idea of splitting a uranium atom, creating the first atomic bomb. When the atom would be split, it would create a nuclear weapon so powerful that it could wipe out many soldiers and, unfortunately, civilians all at once. Albert Einstein, along with Enrico Fermi, who fled Italy earlier in the war, had gotten word of this too. Both were renowned scientists at the time. They both quickly wrote to Theodore Roosevelt, who was president at the time, a letter stating what was going to happen. The president was skeptical at first. He did not think that such a thing was necessary, especially since the Nazis hadn't actually completely figured it out. They were just barely getting started. Eventually, though, President Roosevelt agreed and began the top-secret project we now know today as the Manhattan Project. It was tested near the Trinity site in Alamogordo, Gordo, Mexico. It was strapped to a 100 feet tall tower and was set to detonate by dawn. The sources state that no one was prepared for quite an experience. The bomb, when it set off, gave a blinding light that was visible almost 200 miles away. The height of the mushroom cloud it gave was 40,000 feet high. Then, to cover up their tracks, the scientists quickly told a bad lie to the people in the area whose windows had been shattered that a big ammunition dump exploded near their homes. When President Truman got word of the bomb being successful, he had another issue. What was he going to do with it? With us having an advantage over Japan, we could just drop a bomb on them and end the war. President Truman pondered this to see if it was the morally right choice. There were not just soldiers in Japan. There were also civilians that may be affected, like the broken windows from up to 100 miles away in Alamogordo, Mexico. After a while, President Truman decided to give Japan a choice: surrender unconditionally or face sudden destruction. Japan decided to be relentless and did not want to back down. In the offer that Japan gave, though, there were supposedly hints at Japan surrendering conditionally. Japan decided that they would not back down no matter what, eventually. So Truman released 2 bombs down on Japan. On August 6, 1945, a nuclear bomb was dropped in Hiroshima. The bomb vaporized 80,000 people, and over the course of the months and years that followed, another 100,000 died from heat and radiation sickness. 2 days after the bomb dropping, the Soviet Union declared war on Japan. Another bomb was dropped in Nagasaki, the death toll being another 80,000. On August 14, 1945, Japan did surrender. Our country rejoiced at the victory. Sadly, this happy time would not last very long. Americans, reasonably, did not trust Joseph Stalin's communist government. He wanted the Americans to pay for the slaughter of the Soviet Union citizens and guarantee that nothing like what happened to Japan would ever happen to the Soviet Union. Almost immediately, the U.S. had another war to fight, the Cold War, but that needs a video of its own. The Americans were not going to sit and let totalitarianism spread west from Moscow, now today Russia's capital.
Working, I think, with Dr. Bright, no? And because I want to start from the beginning. My book, I intend to start with the year 1942, because otherwise there is no limit. A few months before the Manhattan District.
Well, no,
and the decision on to go ahead.
The decision was actually made on December 6th to take the thing seriously.
Of 41,
right?
Before Pearl Harbor.